Trinia, mad. Trinia, mad. Trinia, mad.
So we are back again, and boy, listen, even the tech guys run into technical difficulties. It's like as soon as we went live, all of a sudden the internet just cut off. Everything was working fine the entire time, all throughout testing. We've been testing for the last 30 minutes, and as soon as we go live, things happen. But no worries. I'm glad that you guys are trickling back in. I'm glad that you guys and gals are tuned in, because honestly, tonight is one of those topics where we have to understand, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, now that if you are living in Trinidad, if you're out in Jamaica, where, all of these lockdown measures are here, people are panicking because it's like they don't know how to conduct their business and still make money while it's happening during the lockdown. We want to be able to guide you guys, how you guys and gals can still earn while we are in lockdown. And many of us just don't have the infrastructure, understand how that infrastructure works or what is needed to be able to conduct your business online. And what you guys are seeing is two huge things popping up. You're seeing marketplaces popping up. You're seeing website solutions popping up. So we're going to be diving into that today. Now, if this is your first time ever seeing this face, my name is Keron Rose, and listen, I'm an online business coach and strategist. And it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, since we've done a live, but like we did last year with the Digital Age series, where we spoke to Caribbean business owners and entrepreneurs and experts about how to navigate the digital space. And then we had a pre-series last year to kind of help you guys during the first lockdown to get online and navigate that space. We're back again with another mini-series to help you guys during the second wave of lockdowns. And I have a guest here tonight. my guy OC Phillips, who has been a huge voice on LinkedIn, preaching the digital age and digital transformation on LinkedIn. And he has also been somebody that has been breaking down marketplaces, website solutions. So we're going to be bringing him in. Before we bring OC on board, let's just see who's in the building tonight and let me know where you guys are watching from. Are you guys in Jamaica? Are you guys in Trinidad? Are you in Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Guyana, the UK, the US, Canada? Let me know in the chat where you guys are tuning in live from. So the first comment of the night, my guy Ishmael, as always, glad to see you. We got the boss lady herself, Keron Hepburn. Hello, how are you, Keron? Hello, hello. And we have Greta. Greta, I gotta come to you. I need to get some pottery in the house. We gotta get some pottery on set. Glad to have you. We have Eddie. Eddie, good night. How are you doing? We have Khadijah Holder. She's tuning in live from Trinidad. Beautiful. Love to see Trinidad in the building. That's how we doing it now, DigiBoss. Of course, that's how we always doing it. We got Damien in the US. Who else do we have? Ebenezer in Trinidad. Ishmael's in Trinidad. Let me know in the comments where you guys are tuning in from. While we wait for that, allow me to bring my guy OC Phillips on. Let's get this party started. Let's get this conversation started. So, allow me to introduce Mr. OC Phillips. OC, what is going on, bro?
Good night, good night, good night. I'm fine. How are you?
Cool, man. I'm cool. You know, me and you always have these conversations offline, and we always joke half the time, if we recorded our conversations, it would make for some amazing content. So I think it's about time.
Right.
We jumped on live and we actually had a conversation, live and direct, that can help educate the people on particular topics that we are pretty passionate about, to help, grow the Caribbean space and get them thinking digital. So how you doing tonight, bro?
I'm good.
How's the lockdown treating you?
Well, I work remotely regardless, so we're just looking at new parts of the house, basically. Trying to figure out things that I've not discovered before.
How has been with you working remotely, with the lockdown measures? Has anything really changed for you? And if anything has changed, what has it been for you?
Nothing has changed. If anything has changed, it has been more an increase in questions. When people are curious about things that they can navigate. How do I do this? How do I do that? Because there's no dedicated space for them to turn to get the answers in the context that we need here.
And I'm glad you made that point. And I think that is critical because I'm kind of in the same boat where the questions are piling up. Like I don't think I've ever seen my inboxes hit the hundreds in the way that it has been across the platforms, and that's because when people are Googling their information, as you know, everybody is Googling and they're looking for the answers. The information that is popping up is from other markets, the US, the UK, and what most people are not doing is putting it into context for themselves. So they will jump on a suggestion or jump on a strategy from somebody that's in the US and then implement it, and then somewhere along the line they realize, wait a minute, this can't work for me. And in my case, what I get a lot of is when people already done, build their platforms, they've gone live with it, they've spent their money, it's months from start to finish, and then the first sale comes in and they come back and they're like, wait a minute, I can't get my money out of this PayPal account.
You see, the feed of the information, what we consume is largely US based. I think the US biggest export is not the currency, more so the culture. So people just consume a lot of things from them. And then we try to just copy and paste it here to the Caribbean and realize we do have the same problems. We do have the same infrastructure. We do have the same size of market. We do have the same size of middle class buying personas, buyer class, and call it. And then they run into problems. And then they already invested a couple of thousands into our project, and then
And then the
And it
time,
happens a
and
lot.
then the time.
It happens a lot with marketplaces. So I guess here's the best place for us to start the conversation.
And that is it. So before we dive into tonight's topic, OC, give the public, just give them a couple of tidbits, a couple of facts about you. Who is OC Phillip? What are you doing these days? Talk to us. Introduce yourself to our audience tonight.
What do I do? Tobago born and raised. I like to think that I'm a global entrepreneur. I like how I can marry strategy and technology, transform business models. I have a knack for walking into businesses and shift. I see gaps where nobody see gaps. I see problems where nobody see problems. So more recently, I've been managing a couple of software development projects or websites or mobile apps or marketplaces. Most of my work in the last 4 to 5 years has been across Africa. Built, grown, brought to market a payment gateway across there, couple digital transformation projects across there, and all things technology. Basically, I hit in and around, whether I consult, whether I strategize, whether I advise. I'm in and around technology holistically, whether it's by myself or a team where we build projects from scratch, custom projects.
All right.
I do a lot.
He's a technology man. So let me ask you, with all of the quote unquote problems that we have in the Caribbean, what makes you want to try to solve some of the problems that we are facing in the region? Because again, you could be quietly building in Africa. It's a larger market. You're consulting over there. You're on projects over there. What makes you want to start to tackle some of the issues that we are facing in the region?
Some may see it as selfish reasons, but I think if you solve problems here, you make life better for yourself. If I help businesses here and a business sells something that I want to buy, it's easier for me to purchase locally. I don't have to go to Amazon and deal with a skybox and deal with customs. I think, if we get things right here, and nothing is selfish. I think if we get things right here and somebody else gets it right in Trinidad, somebody else gets it right in Tobago, somebody else gets it right in Jamaica, like the Spanish say, the rising tide elevates our ships. I think it will be beneficial for everybody, as a matter of fact.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I'm kind of in that same boat, right? I really do believe that, if the more we can help people collectively, we can raise the standard of living. We can minimize a lot of the issues that we are facing together, because I think everybody is hoping that somebody rides in on a white horse with all of the solutions to our problems, and they don't realize that it's really the entrepreneurs and business owners that go out, find problems, meaningful problems that actually solve the things that we kind of go through, So,
yeah, definitely.
With all that said, let us dive into the topic tonight, because listen, it's an important one, and I really wanted to start off this series with a topic that is something hot, that you've been preaching about, I've been preaching about, and that topic is marketplaces versus websites. Where should businesses be investing? Should they be jumping in on the marketplace train? Should they be trying to build a website? In some cases, and who should be doing both, and why? And the one thing that you guys are going to notice about me and OC don't always agree, right? We always have spirited discussions. And it always makes for some great moments that we can sit back and laugh at after the fact. But I love the fact that he has a background, I have a background, and at the end of the day, the thing with me and him, and why me and him are good, is because it's all in the spirit of elevating the space, right? And that's what just makes, again, just two people that we can agree to disagree, move forward, and still try to put out, our best foot forward to try to help build the space. So tonight, marketplaces versus websites. So I'm going to throw this one to you first to kick it off tonight. So what is a marketplace? What is a marketplace by definition? Let us know, because some people might be in the audience and they don't know what a marketplace is. So kick it off for us. What is a marketplace?
I Ideally, a marketplace is a standalone place where merchants come to sell products, and clients come to purchase products. Uh, in the Caribbean, we like to confuse what a marketplace is with Amazon. So there's different types of marketplaces. Amazon being one of the most famous one, but there's like service-based marketplaces like Freelance, Upworks, Fiverr that list services. There's subscription-based marketplaces that are around. Um, and there's different types of business models that we could go down. Most of them fall under two things, either horizontal or vertical marketplaces. And it really depends on the business model. Horizontal is really you're engaging buyers and sellers over a wide range of categories, multi vendors, marketplace platforms where transactions per user is kind of higher than normal. And when you look at vertical marketplaces, they're kind of more specific or down to a niche type of marketplace. And then you
Right.
could go deeper into like the operating model, the revenue model. Is it listing? Do you have to pay to list? Are you commission based? So there's a whole deep dive that you could go into marketplaces and the different types of models behind.
All right, all right. And I mean, we're gonna be we won't try to go too deep to lose anybody, but we want to give you guys a good understanding of what a marketplace is, the benefits, the pros, the cons, and whatnot. Now, I want to say this live so you guys can see this guy's face, right? So, OC, when people come to you, because you build applications, you build platforms for companies throughout
Right.
Africa, throughout the region, right? So when somebody comes to you, when they see all the work that you're doing, they realize, okay, I wanna start a business, and they reach out to you and say, hey, OC Phillips, you seem to be the guy to execute my vision. I'm trying to build a marketplace like Amazon. What is your initial reaction
There-
when
There's two
people
reactions.
come and say, I want to build a marketplace like Amazon? Why is that your face? Tell me, what is your thought? What is Amazon? I want you to dive into that as well. But
So
talk to
there's
us.
two reactions. There's a professional reaction. There's an internal reaction. Internally, I shake my head. I bow down like some one of the memes that we would see.
The Jordan
And
cry.
yeah, like my eyes get glassy. And then because people don't understand what Amazon is, and that's why a lot of marketplaces have been popping up. A lot of people are opportunistic. They don't understand the full value chain of what needs to be a part of a marketplace.
Right.
But what makes Amazon so great is a lot of things that people don't see that happen behind the scenes. So we don't see a lot of things that happen behind the Amazon. Amazon has their own search engine called A9. They have built that so that it's specifically listed for products. Everything you list on Amazon is part of their search engine, even right back to the feedback. When you buy a product on Amazon and they ask you to leave a feedback in the comments, that is also part of Amazon's SEO. And because you speak and you comment locally in your lingo, your dialect, your language,
Yeah.
when people from your region, your IP address, your market that they could call, search on Amazon, then that even helps boost a product,
Right.
right? And the second thing that makes Amazon a juggernaut, I mean, just in marketplace part, I'm not talking about Amazon Web Services and other parts.
Right.
What makes them a juggernaut is they have one of the most, if not the most sophisticated logistics network and supply chain in America, which is even better than FedEx, USPS, all of these things.
Right.
So Amazon could guarantee that they could get the product to you, but they could also guarantee you that when you search, there are the products that you're looking for. Um, just off the bat, in March, we're in May, April or March, like Amazon had 1 million organic searches from Trinidad. Like 1 million people into Google and just typed in Amazon. That's not paid, that's not referral, that's not
That's
backlinks
just
through other
organic.
products. That's just organic search. So we have 1 million searches coming out of Trinidad and Tobago only going to Amazon.
Right.
Searches could be transferred to local products. People right here,
Right.
because like we could comb through the data and see if people want the things that are on Amazon, if they are selling here, if they are available here,
Right.
and
So
to
let me
get done.
ask you. So one of the key things that you mentioned, and we kind of I don't want to gloss over this, right? But you mentioned that Amazon is a search engine. Why is the A9 search engine so critical to the success of product e-commerce?
It revolves around SEO and all things. A lot of people here don't understand what SEO is,
So
but
so what
that
is
search
SEO?
engine,
Just give us a high level. What is SEO?
search engine optimization at a basic level means that it allows what you're offering to be found by people searching. So
Right.
whatever you're selling is optimized based on search engine um, guidelines
Right.
that people would be able to find your product if it's listed in a certain market, or where your target audience would be able to find your product easier.
Right. Perfect.
Amazon's A9 search engine basically is built around products. And there are different types of search engine. There's listing search engines. There's people that build search engine that you could plug into the back of your website that would boost your site. Um, but Amazon search engine is built specifically for products, and it
Right.
sits between Amazon Marketplace and Google. Google has 92.8% market share as a search engine at last check. So
Yep.
almost all the searches come through Google.
Right.
When that happens, Google then that search engine works where it marries that search to a product on Amazon's platform. So sometimes you could be searching for something here in Trinidad and something for quite in Amazon's warehouse shows up here because their search engine or their SEO is way better than local companies here,
So
right?
if okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Not going.
So if the marketplaces, if I'm searching for a product, right, and people tuning in, we all shop on Amazon, or some of us even shop on eBay. But if we
Right,
go on Google and we type in a product, so let's just say I'm looking for black sneakers. Typically, what will
right,
come up is an Amazon listing, right? So
right.
with the marketplaces throughout the region, can are people able to really get their money's worth if people are searching for products and it's not being found on like the local marketplaces?
So here's the downside to that, right? I just happen to have some insight. There's a huge company that white labels marketplace solutions. All right. This company also white labels stuff like ride sharing platforms and all these other things, right?
Right.
So this company white labels a marketplace. You could go onto this company and purchase a marketplace solution for on or around 5,000 US dollars. If I
Right.
have to build an online marketplace, you would probably be looking at like about cross 300,000 TT dollars. That's cross 50,000 USD, right? If it probably has to be built at as a minimum viable product. So this
Right.
5,000 US lowers the barrier to entry for people. You buy that, and literally in 2 weeks, you could have a marketplace up and running. You
Right.
just have to have your hosting. They give you the white label applications for Android, iOS, customer applications, merchant applications. You could have it up and running,
Right.
right? Then they hand it over to you.
Right.
Um, I know for sure because I worked with this company, and I work with them in different aspects. I know for sure plenty of the marketplaces that pop up here are built on that, but the downside to that is because it's ready made, it's out of the box solution that you're not allowed to do much SEO. You're only allowed to do add Google Search Console, um, and Tag Manager on the main pages, right? Everything
Right.
else, because of the framework that is built in, right?
Right.
Um, so I work with a company to kind of connect. They have a built-in plugin that you could automatically connect First Atlantic, and you could connect WePay on it now. So I
Right.
was a part of that. So I understand the marketplace on different place. So
Gotcha.
somebody asked
Gotcha.
a question, what is white labeling? Let me just answer that.
Yes. Giselle.
So white labeling is, hi Giselle. White labeling is the company built the software solution. They realized that there's a market for it, that they could resell it. So what they do is copy and paste the same code that they built it in and just sell you or license you a model or a franchise. So what you buy is ready-made code that's already built into this framework. When you purchase it, They look at a volume model. So it costs
Right.
them 50,000 to build it out from scratch. They realize, all right, we could build this, but let us, if we sell it to everybody at 5,000 and they pay that 5,000 annually, on a scale basis, we could sell it to anybody in any market. So if 100 people in Trinidad want it, 100 people could pay $5,000, and they don't care how competitive the market is.
Right. They're just selling the
So that
product.
is, yeah, that's a product for them. That's their business
Right.
model here.
Perfect. So that kind of leads me into my next question about marketplaces. With everything just said, especially how we broke down, the search engine aspect for Amazon, why Amazon works versus,
Right.
some of the white label solutions. Why should somebody join a marketplace? Because we're seeing them pop up everywhere. What was the last count that you had for a marketplace, just in Trinidad alone?
Our last count was 36, I think.
36 marketplaces have popped up within
Yeah.
like pretty much the last 12 months, right? Why should somebody join a marketplace in general? In general, why should somebody even join a marketplace, generally speaking? Let's get into some of the pros of a marketplace.
So the pros are, like, if I'm a merchant, I have a brick and mortar store. I'm looking at a fast way to get or be in a space where traffic is. The key thing about marketplaces is the database or the traffic that is driven to it. Um, so if your marketplace does not have traffic, then you need to go back to the drawing board, right?
Right.
But pros of going onto a marketplace, it should allow you to get paid without having to set up all these things on your own. It should allow you the logistics part of it to have that fulfillment aspect of it. So it solves that problem. And it will solve your SEO problem of driving traffic to your store as a core functionality. Those are the three main things that you should look at before joining a marketplace. Of course, you could go deeper and have a lot of questions.
Give me those three again in case anybody missed it. Give me those three reasons you just broke down.
Payments, how,
Right.
because you could get paid digitally through the marketplace.
Right.
Two, logistics, how they supposed to have a solution that would fulfill your delivery or last mile delivery or supply
Right.
chain.
Right.
And three, traffic or awareness, basically, where they bring people to your store. So yeah, those are the core three. There's a lot more, but I mean,
No, that's good, and I mean, for people that are just getting their feet with what a marketplace is, those three things are going to be critical. The payments are taken care of for you, the logistics are taken care of for you, and if the person is done, has built their infrastructure correct, there's going to be traffic coming in, right? Now,
Right.
that leads me to this next discussion about the traffic. One of the ways that marketplaces are, typically being compared to is physical malls. So because again, the technology is pretty new to the Caribbean region and people are still wrapping their minds around marketplaces, right? They are often compared to, well, it's like a mall. Somebody, goes to a Trin City Mall or any mall and because they are physically there, there's all of these stores, and that person can now walk around the mall and see all the other stores, and then pop into. So if a popular store like a Foot Locker or whoever, right? If I'm going there for that, if that store is in the middle of the mall, I have to pass all of these other stores, and I might stop in and check them out. But key stores bring in traffic, and then because we're physically there, people tend to walk around. But in the digital world, that is different. So, my question to you is it safe or is it good to say that marketplaces are like physical malls, or is it a bit misleading?
there is one model that is like that, and it happens in China. So under Alibaba's group, there's Alibaba, there's Taobao, and there's Tmall. It's listed like that, and there are different types of marketplaces that are listed like that. That really depends on who are the people behind that marketplace. But the truth is, and here's how we're going to break this back down. If I have a mall in Trinidad, for those who understand Trinidad, and I have a Price Mart or I have a Pennywise. Those are
Right.
high traffic businesses.
Right.
Any business that sits in or around that would benefit off of natural traffic,
Right.
right? Um, the thing about online marketplaces is that nobody gets to benefit from what they call economic rent. Economic rent is the price you pay above average price for a location. So if you want to have a specific store in a high traffic place, the
Right.
owner of the building may say, all right, everything else is, if you want it in the back of the mall, is 20,000. But if you want this front spot, it's 30,000.
Right.
So that $10,000 difference gets you traffic in a brick and mortar store. That is not the same. That is considered economic rent, but that is not the same online.
Right.
Online, you either drive your own traffic and do the necessary, or you go on to a space that drives traffic. That's why Amazon could demand what they demand in a way that they, any way that they want to,
Right.
because they control the whole value chain of it.
Right. So is it, would you, how do you feel about, again, there's currently a surge in marketplaces and everybody is, again, they're selling it like it's a physical mall. Is it misleading to say it like that?
I think
with,
it
with,
is
with our region, with our region.
Yeah, because one, I think those people sell hope. I think they sell hope more than anything else. Reason being is that if you look at Amazon, was founded in America. For the first 13 years, Amazon made $0. No profits, sorry, not $0, zero profits. They figured out the business model. They started selling books. Jeff started buying books at $10, sell it back at $8 to drive traffic and to build customer, not loyalty, but habits.
Right.
And keep people coming to the platform, right?
And habits.
He was thinking, if customers aren't loyal, they habit you up, right? So he drove that change in behavior for customers to come to the site.
Right.
Amazon was built at a time, because timing has a lot to do with it. It's built in a good timing. Two, America is 320 something million people. They have a middle class of 200 plus million people. So that means somebody could sell a product there and you have potentially 200 and something million people that could buy a product.
Right.
Right? There was this one guy who made a product called a pet rock and was selling it. And then what did he make? He sold $1 million, and then he did that in like quick succession, and he made $1 million, right?
Right.
You can't come and do the same for here because one is our payment options aren't that much. If you're a high traffic marketplace, you would go on to First Atlantic, but WePay is one thing. No marketplace here has a payment splitter. That means one, if somebody pays the platform, it takes a while for the platform to pay the merchant. Nobody splits it one time, right? Two, from a logistics standpoint, if I'm on the platform and I'm selling, let's just say I'm selling a phone, right? Nobody controls the value chain of logistics. So if I have to buy a phone, it may cost me $800 to ship a phone from Trinidad to Barbados. Nobody controls that.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
And then nobody also controls how much traffic because nobody understands what SEO is, and they don't invest into it because they think that any investment into a marketplace should be low-hanging fruit or short-term, but they don't realize that it would benefit people in the long term. So those things are gaps that happen in a marketplace. So you can't call it a mall when you, the owner of the marketplace, have not solved the bigger problems that they are. Because if I set up my own website, I will still face those 3 problems. Well, I'll face 2 out of 3. Because I can get a WePay account for myself and I can get paid. I don't need it to split.
And I don't need to split, right? Correct, yes.
I don't need to split. So me having my own website, actually, I mean that I have less problems than me going on a marketplace, right? And I know you must clap for that because
I must clap for that. Well, yeah, go on. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah, go ahead.
So like that, I understand that.
Yeah.
So there's that riff, depending on what you're looking for.
Correct. No, and again, that's critical because if again, people need to understand, what Amazon is, right? And why
Definitely.
Amazon works. They've solved the core problems, and it starts with the search engine. The simple fact that if I have a question and a product can solve that problem, Amazon's listing pops up in Google and it's top of the list. If I want to purchase, if I use things, and we were having a discussion on Google Shopping, we won't get into that right now, but using something like Google Lens, where we can use Google Lens and it analyzes whatever we are looking at, and then it populates the listing onto Amazon or onto Google Shopping. If your product cannot be found via the search engines, there is no way you can compare your marketplace to the likes of like an Amazon. And then when you get into the payment splitting, we just get further down the hole as to why your specific marketplace is not like Amazon. So selling it like the next Amazon, like I think me and you were talking about it yesterday, where there was we were watching a news article, and it was saying that somebody here in Trinidad is trying to build the next Amazon. And again, you don't want to laugh. You don't want to laugh, because we're entrepreneurs, we're business owners. We want to see everybody succeed. But it's like you're trying to tackle something that you don't even understand. And at this point, what I would love people to do is, I would love people, if you guys have Netflix, go watch Patriot Act with Hassan Minaj, and he breaks down the entire scope of what Amazon is. Amazon is almost anything but a marketplace, because
Correct.
all of the layers that you don't see, none of those things are available in any of the marketplaces throughout the Caribbean region. And again, we'll get into some more of the pros to the Amazon topic. But what I wanted to do is, so last 12 months, Trinidad alone, 36 marketplaces. Dog, why are we seeing the surge in marketplaces across the region? Why is marketplaces like the go-to idea that everybody's having at the same time? Why the sudden surge?
Well, opportunity. First quarter, if not first, no, Q2 of 2020, when Amazon declared how much profit they made, and people just feel like they have a bazinga moment, and they're like, all right, let us start one. And then you're looking at the barrier to entry for a marketplace now has been lowered with white label solutions. So I now no longer have to invest $200,000 or $300,000. I could spend, was that 35,000, get a marketplace up and running, charge people a listing fee for coming on, make back some of that 30,000 gradually, or 35,000 gradually, and hope for the best. But it's a lot deeper than that with a marketplace. There's business models, there's merchant journey touch point, there's customer journey touch points. How do you drive traffic? There's SEO, payments, logistics. There's how do you measure traffic? How do you measure the things that happen? How people traverse across it? Certain niches, certain businesses that complement each other, right? When they complement each other, one of the things I've noticed a lot about marketplaces here is that because they're desperate for people to come on, a lot of them just come on and onboard different types of businesses. None of them complement each other. None started off as a niche. Even if you look at Amazon's history, Amazon was known for starting off selling books. Jeff and they moved at one point. You could have bought a house, you could have bought a yacht on Amazon, and then they realized logistically, Jeff was like, "Guys, we're getting carried away here in the warehouse. We can't have a whole yacht in here. Let me just carry it." And then they learn, and then they start to shed the unnecessary things, and then they realize what works for them. Fast moving consumer goods, and then they move across anything else. So opportunists that don't do market research, they do any history, they don't know what they don't know. Egos have a lot to play with it, because they sit in a silo and say, all right, this is a good idea. But if they do any marketplace, you realize, all right, if there's already 30 plus here, even if I have to come out with one, what are those 30 that not doing that is going to be my um
That's going to
differentiating,
differentiating factor.
right? That's my
Right.
differentiating factor. So they do none of that. And the market is ripe for people that that are looking for a hope or a way out. For people to say like, if a guy is drowning and he's under the water and you're seeing a leaf on top of the water, he might grab it thinking he could pull himself up, right?
Right.
So things like that, people are grasping for opportunities to make money because with the lockdowns, traffic isn't that much. More people are staying home. So if they think that, all right, I have to spend on 200 or 300 or 400, I may make that back in sales a month. But
Right.
it's only when they realize I'm not getting that, where do I turn to now?
Right. And I mean it's a good business if you are the one that is rolling out the marketplaces, because when you are charging a monthly fee for people to list and you're earning, but the people who are not who are on the marketplace themselves are not seeing their way, we are getting more. And I mean, you could speak to I could speak to from my end. I have more people that are reaching out saying, yo, they're paying for their spot in the marketplace and it's not making sense financially because the traffic isn't there. They're not being advertised. The traffic isn't coming in. The sales aren't coming in. And they were spending their money with the hope, as you said, the hope is the real sales ingredient, but they were spending their money with the hope that they would be getting the traffic because, well, the person is saying that it's like a physical mall and they can grasp, well, oh yeah, if I can spend a 500 TT or 100 US and the person it's like getting physical space in the mall where the more people that come to this platform, they're going to see my store. And the question I have to people is, when I hear that, I'm like, when you go to Amazon, how many other stores do you check out? Do you even check out a store? Or do you just, when you jump on Amazon, do you just specifically type in another product that you're looking for, and whoever comes up on the first page, like Google, do you check out those platforms? Most people don't even realize that Amazon, is a marketplace of resellers, which is the reason why most people in Trinidad don't even use eBay.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. So the bigger issue here is a lot of people don't understand what digital is. The daily I realize digital is passing over a lot of people's heads because one, habits are hard to change. It has been business as usual where people have been living their life one way for the last how much ever years, and two, now this sudden change happens. People fear what they don't understand.
Yes.
So because they don't understand digital, they think that because it may not be something that they could see and that's tangible. Again, I'll go back to economic rent. A guy could say, if I'm paying 25,000, business owner could say, if I'm paying 25,000 for a spot, I am getting 10,000 square feet of space that I could list products in, whether it's a grocery, whether it's a store, or hardware, and I could list products and I could know what I'm paying for tangibly.
Right.
Because they don't understand and they don't see anything tangibly in digital, it's kind of hard for them to understand.
Right.
Two, egos. Nobody likes to seem vulnerable and not know something, right? Everybody wants to say like, I know this and I know that and I do my own. And I would give a real life scenario. About 2-3 weeks ago, I saw a marketplace pop up on LinkedIn. I did a quick research and I sent the guy something. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? I think you're missing this. And his response, his exact response was, all right, thanks. I don't think we're looking into that at the moment, but I will get back to you. And I'm like, what?
How is that something
You
not figured out
serious?
before you even started?
Like these are the fundamental things that you need to flesh out, not in a business plan, because I don't believe in business plans.
Right.
And people argue with me about that. Business
That's
plans came out in
another conversation. That's another conversation.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in business plans, but you have not fleshed that out before you even launch a minimum viable product or brought a product to market, like
Right.
how could you know you're operational here? Um, one, I guess you're still making some sort of money
Right.
for you to ignore all these things, but
Well, they're
like, how
charging
could you,
people listing fees. What do you mean?
right? So it's a kind of a band of Robin Hoods, I guess we have here, I guess.
Right. And I just want to answer this. I just want to answer Jonathan's question real quick. The show that I was saying on Netflix is Patriot Act. It's on YouTube actually. You could go on YouTube, Patriot Act by Hassan Minaj. Look for the Amazon episode. I actually wish every person who is running a marketplace would go and watch that episode on Amazon, because they break down every layer of what Amazon is. And again, by the end of it, you realize that Amazon isn't, if you think that Amazon is just there to list products, then you have no idea what Amazon is and how it works and why it works at the success rate that it does. All right.
You do have a clue.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit. You know, we've been touching on the marketplaces, pros and cons to it. But now let's dive in. You know, should a business have a website to thrive in this new economy? Because I mean, with marketplaces, we talked about how it's kind of supposed to work and how it's being sold. And one of the key things you spoke about is people joining marketplaces, and then they're kind of just relying on the marketplace to drive all this traffic. And one of the things you mentioned was people not driving their own traffic to their platform, right? So, let's talk websites. Should people have a website? And then we'll kind of flow into, how having your own website for your business, how that could work with a marketplace. But should businesses have a website to thrive in this new economy, OC?
The short answer to that should be yes. I think they should have some form of a digital presence. It may not be in the full form of a website, but I think it could be a landing page. You could get a landing page in different forms if you optimize different search platforms to drive traffic to your site or to whatever you list information on is enough. If that's enough for your business model, then fine. It depends on the size of it. But again, people don't understand what a website is and the value that it brings. A website ideally should be like the digital asset, a digital arm of your business that people could shop from. That's the only staff that you would have that works 24/7.
Only.
All other staff might come in to work at 8 o'clock, do some work until 9:30, go on Facebook, scroll through TikTok, go for lunch. You're paying them for 8 hours, but your website is the only staff that you have that works every single minute of the day.
Yes.
People don't, and again, everything is scary here in this region because people spend money or people buy where perceived value exceeds price. So I hear people who have a perception of a website and approach me and be like, "Oh, see, I need a website." I'd be like, "All right." And I don't really like to talk budget, but then they're like, I only have $700 TT. And I'm like, wow. I'd be like, all right, look, this link, Keron has a course how to build a website.
Right.
Yeah. And I would usher them there. Or I would help them as much as I can or send them to YouTube or something like that. Right. Because most of the things I've learned, I've attended the University of YouTube, and YouTube is a great place.
Facts. I have YouTube a PhD from YouTube, yo.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Cum laude, magna cum laude, I'm there. But people need to understand what a website is, and the value that it brings, so that they would know that how they should operate to help my business, and not look at it as, well, everybody talking about a website, and maybe I should get one.
Right. Agreed. And I'll just throw this out there, Erica. Patriot, Patirot, Patriot Act by Hassan Minaj. Just jump on YouTube. You'll definitely see that. All right. But yeah, people do not know what a website is, and I agree. And I mean, half of my conversations with respects to people trying to get online is debunking what they believe, their perception of what a website is. most people think it's just a place to put, or when they come to me, they're like, yeah, I want to build a simple website. I want 2 pages. I want home and contact, or just a 1-page website. And it's like, you don't understand that the search engines, Google, they have changed their algorithms, they've changed their metrics years ago. Now you get penalized on just having 1-pagers because Google and the search engines like Bing, they are now in the content game. What they want is they want websites. So Google's mantra that they started off 2020 with, right? Google's mantra from 2020 was, we want, and this coincided with their big update from last year. Google wants websites to answer relevant search queries. Google wants your website to answer relevant search queries, which means that if your website is a static website, Google's metrics actually check to see, when is this person posting? Are they creating new content? If they are not creating new content on their platform, we're downranking that. And you will get buried to page 3 and beyond. And we already know, if you're not on page 1, you know, if we really can't find something on page 1, you might skim page 2. But beyond page 2, we're like, it's a lost cause, right?
If I don't get something on page 1, I change what I search. I change the question that I ask. So that has a lot to do with it, the different variations of keywords. And the truth is, sometimes I can't blame people because there's nowhere for them to turn to get content for us here, like Trinidad or some parts of the region. There's no direct place to turn. When they Google, nobody really puts that much context in it. So I get that. But for people to understand the range, so I've built websites that cost $3,000 TT, right up to the fact that I've built a site or built sites for $150,000 TT.
Right.
It really depends.
I can't afford you.
Good. Now your money good, your money good. For the mere reason, it depends on the functionality. The website ideally supposed to be a content management system. It could be a beautiful thing, depends on what framework you use. There's different types of websites that you could use. If you're going to go deep into it, they could have web portals that you could have people log in and do certain things on. There's just blog websites. There's websites you just want to list product information, different things. But it needs that consistent work, that consistent maintenance, that consistent content marketing, SEO, right? It needs a lot. So people need to understand, one, digitally, everything you do digitally needs to work the same way. And I tie back again, not just this economic rent part of it, but more so, if I spend $20,000 on a website, or let me just say I spend $12,000 on a website, I'm selling one of my favorite snack here. I like chocolate digestive, right?
Right.
I send in chocolate digestive. I need to know that if I spend $12,000 on a website and I need to make a return on investment on that site, every month I need to at least make $1,000 on the site.
Right.
Just like you're doing an actual product. You buy a product for $1, you pour on 50 cents on it, you sell it for $2, 50 cents go to rent, $1 go back to the business, however your business model is.
Right.
Your website now you need to have an actual plan for that. How am I going to drive traffic and make money? If I'm selling a product, do I sell a product for $10 and the product cost is $4.50 and the rest I split it across different aspects to cover hosted, whatever your pricing is, that you break back down your pricing. Whatever you need to know is you need to make $1,000 a month so that over 12 months, you would make back your $12,000 and you get that return on investment into. So everything after that would be either profit and scale and growth. But a lot of people look at it from the standpoint, I just need to have a website, but they don't understand
what a website is,
what it is, what's necessary, right? And it's hard to convince people. My biggest pain with that is convincing people how the future is, convincing people who live in the past how the future is right now.
Right. I
That
agree.
is hardest
I
thing.
agree. I agree. And I mean, so for me, over the past couple of months, I closed off last year heavy on websites because again, I wanted people to get online, and I try to
Right.
teach people, how to get your websites done professionally and as cheaply as possible because there are ways to do it, right? There are ways to do it.
Right.
When I tell people that I have built two of my websites, droidislandtt.com and keronrose.com. I built both websites for less than 600tt.com, and they're e-commerce ready, SEO optimized and everything. People lose their mind because they're like, how? And it's like, again, there are ways to do this if you are willing to learn. Now, just because I have learned how to build it, and it cost me 600 TT, and you don't know how much time it took me and how much hours it took me to learn this skill. It doesn't mean that you're going to come to me or you're going to go to OC and you're going to say, hey, I have 700. Can you bill it for 700? It ain't good.
Beautiful.
It don't work like that, right? If you want to
So
learn how to do it, go ahead, go ahead.
so what has killed me, right? Is the people that try to make it sound as though I hear somebody say 700 or I could do it for 700. I hear Keron say he did it for his own on 600. Um, and in my business, I believe in this principle. I believe that if I'm good at one thing, I improve on that and I outsource everything else,
Right.
right? Um, because there's an opportunity course, right? There's an opportunity course that comes with you taking all this time to learn to build a website. Um, and the laws of business say that if you do spend time in one thing, somebody else will obviously come and take it over. Um, so if you're good at craft, it happens with creatives. If you're good at craft, you want to take time and months to learn to build a website.
Right.
That's taken away from your craft. Um, I think if you outsource it to the correct people, the opportunity cost, and you double down on what you do, you can make more money and cover that cost,
Right.
right? But it depends on the person behind it and how they're looking at it, right?
Right. Correct. Correct.
And then there are a bunch of people now that kills me. I think on Instagram recently I saw one. Somebody came to me and they're like, this person is selling a website for $800. And next person has like this $5,000 deal where you get a website and mobile apps for your business. And they are like, but how your price is so expensive? And I'm like, go there, go on. You could go there. Freedom of choice, right?
Right.
I
Correct.
am
Correct. Correct.
I am saying that I know when I approach a website for me,
Right.
a website is not a cut and dry thing. Down to the template that you use for a website determines a lot. So if your business is selling clothes and shoes, I would know what template I could use in what framework, what plugins to use, what the strategy behind it is, because
Ah.
it has to tie into your business model, right? So when you
Ah.
come, you have a specific solution that replicates everything. So let me give you
Ah.
one for the people that
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
I
Go
was
ahead.
doing I did an audit for a guy who's in the insurance space. He has his agency in the
Right.
so in the breakdown, I was explaining, I said, here's what. The website needs to do every single thing that a customer who would walk into your business to.
Right.
Meaning, down to the frequently asked questions. Do you track the questions that people come and ask your CSRs? You need to answer that digitally. Do they have to, do some people pay some with card and some with cash? Do you cover that digitally? Do you cover the people that come in late digitally? Do you cover the fact that somebody doesn't have a pen? All right, cool. You will let somebody sign. But then the document that you're sending them through your website is a PDF. Everybody can't edit a PDF. So that needs to be Microsoft Word. So that if they don't have Microsoft Word, they could go to Google Sheets and get it
Yes.
edited easier. Like all those things, granular you need to get as granular into that surrounds a strategy with a website. That means that
Yes.
this website is specifically built and is a digital asset for this company and this company only.
Hey, OC, you get one of these. You get one of these. You get one. Hey, yeah. We ought to take a drink on that one because, hey, honestly, no. You broke it down very, very well. And again, people are not thinking about all of the additional things that go into the strategy behind the website, right? Now, again, we're not saying that, and that's why the costs vary so much because you can get, listen, I can tell you now how to get online for $5 a month. Actually, $3. I can tell you how to get a e-commerce built website for $3 a month here in Trinidad and Tobago, right? You can do that. That is easy. There's nothing stopping anybody from that, right? But then when people come and say, well, you know, I have to do, I need to collect all the questions. I need to be able to send PDFs. I need people to edit. I need people to sign. I need people to do this, that, the third. But I have 800 TT, 100 US. What we could do? Nothing.
I mean, we have a conversation if I have time, but so like, and a lot of people get caught with these things that talk about, like when a lot of people approach me, what is the price for our website? And I automatically have to break that down because a lot of people just compare price.
Yes.
Right? And in our market, we like to think that one, price equals value. So here value is kind of conveyed as a price thing here, right? Anybody, and this is just my advice, you do have to take it. If I learn something, and Keron could tell you this, if I learn something next week that proves what I say today wrong, I would say next week that I was wrong, and that's fine. But if you see somebody that is saying you're getting a website for one price, they don't even know what type of business you're in, run. High knees, Forrest Gump. You could run like this movie Apocalypto, like the guy that runs, who ran the entire movie. High knees and just run the opposite direction.
Say that again. Say, because I need the people in the back to hear it. Say that again.
Anybody that is offering a fixed price website, if you're seeing an ad on social media that says get a website for $5,000, $2,000, get 1,000, anything.
We handing them out. We handing out websites by the thousands.
Run. Those people are trying to productize the offering, mean that they will give you a fixed template and just rush you through some content and get you a website as soon as possible and get your hands off. These people don't have your best interest in business at heart. And they don't understand business models that they could tailor certain things about. They're just looking at that. That's my 2 cents. A lot of people who probably hear this one part of it will want to crucify me, but I mean, they could take it to the Lord in prayer. That's them.
But
I am saying, for the people that don't understand, YouTube, Keron, myself, educate yourself and also know what you want. Because the chances are that your business, you have seen something in the marketplace and you have seen a gap and you say, everybody is doing it this way. I am doing my business that way. So there's no way that somebody could come and say, all right, 10,000 up front, and they don't even know how you doing your business in comparison to your competitors. It doesn't add up. The math's not mathsing at all.
the maths. So you know what? Listen, this is a very, very good segue because, okay, right now, we are seeing, and I mean, this is no knock to anybody. We're just breaking it down for the audience, for you guys to kind of understand, what marketplaces, what are the pros and cons, why you should jump on a marketplace, websites, what is a website, what should a website be doing for you, and what to kind of look out for when you are trying to get a website for yourself, right? So OC made an amazing point of, if the person trying to sell you a website template or a solution, if they don't understand your business model, run, because you're trying to now squeeze your operations into a template. When I have my one-on-one clients, and again, one-on-one, one of the things I do one-on-one is I teach people how to build their own website. So I'm teaching them the skill to build their own website. However, not everybody that books a call, even if they have the money, do I work with. Because when we have the discussion and I understand what you're trying to do, I will tell you straight up what I would teach you on a one-on-one basis. You need a heck of a lot more, and we can't do that together. This is something that is outside of even my scope, outside of your scope to build with what you are trying to accomplish from a business perspective, right? And I will tell them straight up, and I will send them to people like an OC and a couple of other guys that will, again, look at your business model and then build a digital asset to work alongside your business model, right? And we're not going to be using a cookie cutter template to put your business in. So what I wanted to bring to you, OC, we are seeing website solutions being marketed all over the place. As a matter of fact, I think every single bank in Trinidad and Tobago has white labeled Figaro from out of Costa Rica and selling it as an e-commerce solution, right? We also have, a prominent company that is handing out websites right now, right?
Right.
Should people be jumping on these solutions, even if the solution costs $100? Or I guess the better question is, because you kind of touched on it, who should be able to use some of these cookie cutter solutions from what the banks are putting out and what some of these companies are putting out, where they're charging you a low monthly fee, right, to get online? Who can actually use them?
Boy, that's a very good question.
Because there are people that can use them, but people don't know in themselves if I can just go to the bank and sign up for their e-commerce solution, is that the best solution for me? So who are the kind of people that can kind of use a cookie cutter template and use one of these solutions on the market right now?
Well, it depends. So if you're going from a bank standpoint, you got to remember banks' business model, and this could be a whole life by itself, but banks' business model isn't geared towards entrepreneurs at a small scale, right? Anything the bank touches on, the bank would look at from how they're going to benefit, right?
Right.
So if you go on a marketplace that's on board with a bank, the bank would initially push you to get something what they call a merchant account. A merchant account would carry up your initial upfront costs.
In Trinidad,
Eh?
in Trinidad alone, your merchant account costs $100 US per month.
Would be tedious to open because the KYC in it is going to be hard. You have to carry back all the things for your business.
Dog, we lost people at $100 US a month. A merchant account in Trinidad and Tobago is $100 US a month. That's just the bank's fee for a merchant account.
The bank fee for it. So that means whatever you're doing, you have to make more than $100 US a month. So I think the last time I checked a merchant account, the total fees to the bank on a monthly basis would have been across around $425 US, depending. All right? Whatever the maths is, you want to calculate it at 6 or whatever.
But then they also have, that's not including the actual credit card fees themselves, because the banks only use. The banks in Trinidad only use First Atlantic Commerce as that payment processor.
Yeah. So you have bank fees, merchant account fees, then you have First Atlantic fees, and then all these other things. Fine.
Right.
Means that if all those fees are 5,000 TT dollars, just like you have a retail store, if you sell something or you don't sell something, you have to make $5,000 to get your head above water to cover that cost.
Right.
So those things are for people who already have high traffic or people that purchase like subscription-based models. Somebody buys something from you every month. You have recurring traffic. Because it's hard to acquire new customers and stuff like that. We're not getting into that today.
Right.
But there are a few businesses, niche businesses, who may want to go that way. It's not for the guy that's looking to start up. If the guy that's looking to start up, you can't go onto those marketplaces because you're frugal. You're
Right.
looking to get more with less. You're looking to see how could I maximize my 100 US? Do I spend
Right.
20 here, 20 here, 20 there, 20 there, or XYZ, however you look
Right.
to do it. So there is a space for some of those marketplaces like Figaro and they.
Right.
Um, Anything the bank offers you, obviously they put it out there to capture you as lead generation. And when you come into the bank, you get to realize, so you ask more questions, you get to realize, well, wait, this is now harder than I thought. And even if you're trying to call to get the answers, you may not get the answers. So it depends on what you're looking for, in all honesty. It's tough, in my opinion. These things have their people for it.
Right.
But if you're looking for as a startup person, depending on the level that you are, you need to consider all other options.
All right. So we have right now we have our good folks, over at WePay that are doing the Project 1000
Right.
across the Caribbean, where they're handing out 1,000 websites, right? And during the live press conference for WePay, one of the questions that I asked was, there are 1,000. You guys are handing out 1,000 websites, and I think Google has like over 1.5 billion index websites, and only 200 million of those websites are active. So
Right.
is giving a website a solution to the problem, and was a website a problem to fix in the first place?
Um, so one, a website wasn't a problem to fix. I guess two, they when if they look at it internally, they may look at how much merchants or how much individual people are having transactions through their platform, and
Right,
they may think that it's a good value add in this time to do that.
right,
I personally would say that I don't think that that is what is needed. Um, but if it's free and people could add some sort of value, if it could drive four people that spend $100 a month and you get that 400 in your pocket, then fine, go for it.
right,
Um, but the downsides to that would always be one, you don't control the entire value chain of your digital asset, meaning that you can't control how the SEO goes, you can't control the hosting, which they probably would have good hosting. Um, you can't control plenty different parts of it. And depending on what stage you're at the business, you need to have full control of your value chain
yeah,
and your assets to make sure that it grows in the way that you want it to go. You know, some people just grow tomato and they pass stick for it to grow specifically.
right, right, right,
Um, you have to guide that based on where you want your business to go. Because the truth is, your business model could change in 90 days, and you
right.
may not need that exactly. And what would happen with things like this are people would hear free, and we equate free to value, so they're gonna run in, right? Free is 1,000, let me go.
Right.
And nothing's wrong with that, right? But when you run in, you're running in with a sense of blindness because one, you don't know what framework it's built on. You don't
Right.
know how easy it is to drive traffic on that framework. You don't understand the content management system behind it. You also don't understand a lot of things about it. When it was built, how does it rank with Google?
You don't
How does
understand what a website is. It comes back to that question.
right? How
Right.
am I? Do I have full control of my own search console, my own analytics? Do I get to see what it is? Do I understand what it is? And these are the questions that these people need to ask themselves
Right.
when going on to this. So there's
Right.
always a list of questions that people should ask themselves before they join something.
What are they, my friend? Do you have them?
Um, it is different to it is different to it's actually different depending on what marketplace you go on. So I did a slide deck. It's on my LinkedIn. For those of you could go to my LinkedIn, um, like what questions you could ask or you should ask a merchant
Right.
um, before listing on a platform,
Right.
right? Now I don't want people to
Or
think that
picking or picking a website solution? Because we have a wide variety of solutions.
Should
There
I?
are questions
So
that you need to ask before picking and running it onto a website solution.
right. So as I say, I don't want people to think that I'm knocking that 1,000 websites. As I say, it's a good initiative. If you do have a website, then fine.
Yeah.
I just say, like for your own business model, you have to ask the correct questions to know that if it benefits you,
Right.
how it should benefit you in a way, I guess.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Because no, it comes back down to, if you have a car, if I give you a car but you have no idea how to drive the car, right?
Right.
If you have no idea how to drive the car, then you're not going to get anywhere even though you have a car, right? With websites, one of the biggest issues is that we have a wide variety of solutions. When people Google, which is the best solution, you will see people Google things like, which is the easiest website solution to get up and running. Most things come back as Wix. When people type in which is the best solution to use for products, usually comes back as Shopify, right? WordPress is one of the solutions that come back as the most complex to understand, so most people run away from it. But what people don't understand is, how each of those solutions work. And there are questions that you definitely need to ask when deciding which solution to pick, especially coming from the Caribbean, because not every solution works the way that you want. But then because most people don't understand, what a website is, what it's supposed to do, they don't know the questions to ask, like in terms of like the integrations. Does it work with a logistics partner? How are my payments going to work? How am I going to be found via the solution? And then they end up picking a solution, spend their money or not spend their money because they're getting it for either cheap or they're getting it for free, but then don't see the value of it working for them and for their business model.
Well, yeah. I mean, but there are business models. So I don't know if different companies will have behind the scene business models. They may eventually look to push internal shared market space that could say, well, all right, all the people here is free to purchase between people. They
Right.
may even People could even list the types of businesses, put them into categories, and there are businesses that supply other businesses
Right.
that people could purchase from.
Right.
So there are marketplaces that kind of group all people that deal with automotive together. So
Right.
a guy, if he wants to buy windshield wipers or seat covers, they're all grouped together. And just like Amazon they have a recommendation engine that's built in that says, all right, these people who bought this also bought this or recommended products
Right.
that help you to get. There could be those models that fall into it. It really
Right.
depends on. So people need to ask, like, have an idea of what the business model is, what you're getting into. Because I say there are different types of marketplaces, different types of websites, different types of things digitally that people do. Just that need to make sure that your business is aligned with it, or it's aligned with where your business wants to go.
Gotcha. So let's kind of tie this conversation back because we're going on an hour and 20 minutes right now. So let's kind of tie this thing. If you are looking at joining a marketplace, so there's a wide variety of marketplaces and you're looking to join, or if you're on the fence about getting a website or which route should you go, if you are on a marketplace, should you have a website to work alongside your marketplace?
Yes. Even if you look at it from the standpoint of like how Amazon is, like people
Right.
would more know this model than anything else. You could buy Nike shoes on Amazon directly from Nike
Right.
store on Amazon, or you could go directly to Nike's platform.
Right.
The difference is, I think Nike offers different on their own platform because they control that. You could go on Nike store and customize a shoe. There's different options. You could go and get different types of sales that they offer direct to consumer because they want to control that part of it. So the short answer is yes, you should always have your own website.
Right.
But joining a marketplace should basically add the value that you probably do not have on your own channel, which
Right.
is most people go on Amazon because of the traffic.
Right. But
So
then also
this like
the
this
missing pieces that they don't have for the business,
the
like
missing
the
pieces, and
logistics,
it
right?
depends on if you're a small business and you could afford to have one dedicated driver that fits your business model and you could cover that.
Right.
Um, then fine, you could do that. If your business needs more in terms of logistics, fulfillment, inventory, all of that, you just need to look at it as, do I have the capex to inject into this project now,
Right.
um, and make back that money over a period of time, or do I join a marketplace, have them do that, um, learn on somebody else's marketplace, and then figure out which model works for me, and then implement it myself after.
Right.
So there's always that learning aspect that you could do on a marketplace,
Right.
um, and there's different things that you could look at.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm most definitely I'm a believer that if you are going to be joining a marketplace, don't rely on the marketplace to drive the traffic. A marketplace can be a really good partner because if depending on the marketplace that you're joining, they could be the ones that are helping you with the payment gateways. They could be helping you with the logistics. And again, they're also going to be getting traffic to the platform. People can see your space on the marketplace. However,
Right.
you should have, in my opinion, you should have a website to go alongside that and focus on building your brand, focus on building the awareness. Even if for the e-commerce side, if you're still going to be selling products and you're kind of pushing people to your space, like you have a link to your shop on the marketplace where people can purchase. If you're doing that, fine, but I still think you should have a website alongside it so you can create your content, build your brand awareness, and don't just rely on the marketplace to generate traffic for your business. Have some stake, have some skin in the game. Work on building your brand presence, work on driving traffic to your space on the marketplace so that you can ultimately get sales. And again, your partner can definitely help you with the logistics. And on top of that, we got my guy Aldwin in the crowd too, and I got to shout out Aldwin, and we got to talk to him on the big Project 1000 initiative, because you know what? At the end of the day, one of the key problems that we have in the Caribbean is most people just not online. They are selling at the side of the road. They're selling food at the side of the road. They're only operating within their block radius, right? And now that we're locked down, you can't sell. So you don't have a space online where people can come to your platform, purchase your products. That platform also has, they do have some logistics partners as well that can come, collect your items and have it delivered, right? So it is solving a huge problem. So the fact that they are getting people online is going to be solving a problem. One of the key things is that I want everybody to learn is, even when you get a platform, I kind of relate it to having a car. Even when you have a car, if somebody gifts it to you, if you don't know how to drive, then it's not going to work for you. So even when you get a free space online, traffic doesn't just come. Learning how to drive traffic to your platform is going to be huge. Learning how to ask the right questions whenever you are selecting which platform, because there's a wide list of solutions that have popped up, right? There is the Fagaros, there's Buzz Shops, there's Social Pay, there's WeShops, there's WordPress, Squarespace, Wix. There's a wide list, but everything works a particular way. Learning how to ask those particular questions so that you can select the right solution that fits your business model is going to be critical, because the last thing, again, as Google says, we have over 1.5 billion websites and only 200 million are active, and it's because most people just get websites. They don't understand how they're supposed to work with their business model, and then they just give up on it and then go back to what they were doing, right?
Right.
So we don't want that to happen to you, basically, right?
So I think people need to be dangerously good enough. I think Gary Vee said it the best. Even if you're not into techs that much, because a lot of people think tech is a far-fetched thing that they don't understand. I think if you're not into tech, you need to be dangerously enough. I mean, like YouTube, Google, research stuff, ask questions, people in this space, people who have done it, and figure out what you need to know about the space so that you're comfortable enough that somebody can't pull wool over your eyes or BS you
Right.
in any kind of way.
Right.
So whether it's you're going to somebody to build a website, whether it's you're joining a marketplace, whether it's you're doing anything, understand it enough that you understand where your business model fits into it, how it affects it. Um, I think that people should, in their downtime, listen to whether it's podcasts, read books on different things, videos, however you consume, whatever is your method of consumption, you do that. But get dangerously good enough in the tech space surrounding your business. Everything that you do in your business now, it's not new. Somebody have thought about it somewhere in the world.
Right.
Um, you could find it somewhere online and just bring the context to what you do or your local context and ask people in the space. Ask Keron mostly. Just ask him.
Nah, I running from that. No, honestly, I try to answer as many questions as possible, and most times what I will do is I'll try to facilitate the discussion. So if there are things that are being talked about a lot, so like tonight's topic. Marketplaces, websites, should you join? Should you go one way or the other? Should you have both? This was a topic that has been asked so many times online. It's super relevant throughout the entire Caribbean because, we're seeing so many new marketplaces pop up. We're seeing a ton of website solutions pop up. And again, we still even had the old ones, right? But the question of, well, hey, do I join the marketplace or should I just get a website or do I need both? It definitely needed to be kind of discussed. And again, OC, before we wrap up, I just wanted to say pleasure talking to you because again, I know you've been putting on a lot of content around marketplaces, around websites, things that people should be looking for. So definitely glad to have the discussion with you tonight.
Yeah, man, no problem, no problem.
Do
People
you
support.
have? Go ahead. I was about to say
I
if you
just
have
most
any closing remarks for us.
Oh, no, just the most important thing is that people kind of get context of what we say, and they get a view of a different perspective, how they address certain things, how they look at the problems that they're facing. Because if you look at it, most people look at it from a point that they don't know anything, so they just see it and then they kind of take two steps back from it.
Right.
I hope that people get this context into how to look at situations, how to look at digital. They could tune into all these channels and play back the pieces that touch them,
Yeah.
and use it as some sort of asset in your how you look at your business going forward. Digital is far and wide. It's also deep. Um, you could get drowned in digital if you're not careful. You could go down a
Because
rabbit
it's
hole
always
and
changing. It's always changing.
yeah, it's always rapidly changing, almost every 90 days, if not sooner.
Right.
But look at digital and how it affects you. Digital is not just websites as we talk about today, but how the social media and all the other stakeholders in your digital asset happens.
Right.
If your business leads in or needs or is image facing or is then there's platforms like that. There's Facebook marketplaces, different things that you can tune into.
Yeah.
But you would still need all the other forms of digital to support it. So find the niches that work for you,
Right.
combine them together and grow your business.
Yeah. You at this point in time, you really have to build an ecosystem around your business model so that you have
Correct.
multiple touch points so you can connect with people in the mediums that they are using. You could attract your ideal clients. You learn how to put all of these digital assets to work ultimately for your business, right? So again, I kind of want to let people know that there is no right or wrong answer to these things because every single person's business model, everybody's situation is completely different. The conversation that we would have with somebody who is, they're making honey and they're selling it on the side of the road, the conversation you're going to have with that person is going to be completely different than somebody who is, selling their intellectual property online or they need customers to sign documents. And the conversations are going to be different across everybody's business model and solution. So again, that's why it's hard to say, as OC said earlier on, when you see people just saying, hey, come to us, everything is one price, regardless of what the price is, everything is one price. You really have to learn how to step back, because your business and your business model might actually suffer going that particular route if you don't know what it is that you don't know, or what questions to ask to see if it's going to be a relevant solution for you. So OC, before we go, I just want to throw this out there. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to steal 2 more minutes of OC's time, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat now. We'll take a couple of questions before we wrap up, because, man, we've hit the hour and 30-minute mark. And I told OC, I'm like, let's have a 60-minute discussion, and we've gone way over time. So one question I'll answer quick, because there was 2 that came up. One is Jonathan asks, will this live stream be replayable? Yes, it's actually going to be available as we stop. It's going to be available on Facebook, YouTube, and on LinkedIn. You can just go to my YouTube channel, any of the platforms, and you're going to be able to watch the replay immediately. And OC, this is for you. I'll throw it to you and I'll kind of chime in. But Christian asks, even though Amazon is popular, they don't do much advertising. Why do you think they are still so successful?
Right. So I think we answered that earlier, which is organic traffic and their search engine. Amazon basically sits there, look at what you are searching for, and they match it with a product. Whether you list that product in a certain type of way, or the category that is listed in Amazon, the SEO for that is built into the search engine. So almost everything around a product that you search, you would find Amazon. And they don't need to do much outbound or advertising, because most of their traffic is inbound and people search and find them. Right? And that is something that we could probably touch on in our next live, but isn't always outbound that is beneficial to people. Hence we talk about SEO and content marketing. You would hear that pop up before. But once you could answer the questions or provide a search request or a product or a service to match what somebody is searching for, then you're already ahead of the game. Right. And once you know what people are searching for and you could continuously match those 2 things, then you may not need to do much advertising, if anything.
Correct. Inbound traffic is going to be off the chain.
Correct.
We have a question from Angela. What are some of the most effective marketplaces popping up locally?
Wow. This thing trying to put me in trouble. All right, so let me put my disclaimer out one time. Everything... there are people who are going to disagree with what I say, and that is totally fine. Keron knows I'm all good for different perspectives and different. Okay. And if you have something to prove me wrong, then fine, I'm here. Okay. So
you're taking him straight.
With some pinch of salt. Some people are not gonna like it. But most effective marketplaces popping up locally. Those are for varying reasons. I don't want to tire myself here. And Keron is laughing. Keron knows why.
No, so I'll throw one. One of the marketplaces that I like is Carib Shopper. I like Carib Shopper, and I like the fact that they're targeting solving the problem of getting Caribbean products to the U.S., to the UK, to the Canada. Well, as of right now, to the US, I think they're going to be relaunching or launching shipments to Canada, and then I believe they're going to be venturing into the UK. But I like the fact that that's what they're targeting. They're focused on keeping the money in US, so you could be selling the products in the platform. They want to pay you back out in US. I think that's a very good. That's huge for somebody trying to make that US dollar. And I like the fact that they've also kind of simplified the logistics from a sense of, one, they have their own warehouses. So if you're making bulk orders, you can do drop shipping effectively. You can give them a bunch of your product, and then they will pick and pack and get your products out there. Once you provide them with, and if you're not doing a ton of orders and you're only doing small quantities, once an order comes in, then you have 48 hours to go with your item to one of their drop-off points and drop it off, and they will handle logistics into another country. So I like what they're doing over there, and I think it's definitely a good mission, especially for small people who probably would never be able to sell in the States or don't know about all the different components to be able to do it themselves.
Correct. Other than that, I think I've seen something recently with planting seeds that were advertising that they are switching up their model. Well, not model, but switching up the website one. I think they were looking at vehicles for delivery. I think the platform would have covered some part of supply chain and inventory. I don't know how that is until it's rolled out, and I could check it and test it myself.
Right.
So I think
like where they're going with that.
Based on what was said, I think they touch on a couple of points that I think are gaps with most marketplaces.
Okay.
So just that people understand context with me, I have worked on more than 15 marketplaces in different aspects, from project management to the developing software to building the apps to building the business model to building the strategy. So there's a lot of people who would probably know that. So I've been on that. I have worked on over 100 websites, built in different capacities, build it myself, work on it, maintain, project manage different things. And one of the biggest marketplaces I've kind of worked on is one out of Nigeria that I've built. Behind that marketplace has everything, accounting, inventory, invoicing, everything for a merchant to actually operate and run a full business, connecting to bank accounts, everything. You are full, the whole 9 yards. So I just want people to know that when I speak, I kind of speak from a context of that I've been involved in marketplaces in different capacities.
All right, perfect. So I mean, I think that wraps up our question. So OC, if people want to find you, let them know, what are the best platforms to find you and follow you, and if they need to reach out or find your content.
You can find my content either on ocphillips.com. The spelling is, I wouldn't say weird, but my mother tried to be creative, so it's OCEY. Phillips, just like the brand. ocphillips.com, OC Phillips on LinkedIn, or any social channel, as a matter of fact. I'm not too active with this type of content on LinkedIn and Facebook. Not LinkedIn, sorry, on Instagram and Facebook. So more than likely, you would be able to get more things out of me on LinkedIn and my website.
Perfect.
That's where you can find me.
Perfect. All right. Well, bro, thanks for jumping on tonight's session. We're gonna have there's another topic that I want to talk to you on, but we will plan that for next week. So if you guys want to learn more about the upcoming videos that I'm doing a little bit of a mini series. I'm going to be talking to a couple of different people on different topics, and the goal is really to help you go digital during this lockdown. We want to speak to you about some of the key things that you guys could be doing during this lockdown. Joining a marketplace, looking at building your website and having some logistics done so that your business is not stopping because you cannot physically work in a brick and mortar store or in a physical space. I think is really key right now while we go through these lockdown measures. Next week we're gonna have another topic. That topic will be posted on my website, KeronRose.com. And I want you guys to come in next week because we have a lot more to talk about. All right, so as we wrap up, if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, definitely subscribe so you can keep in line with all of the content coming out. You guys can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm at Keron Rose on every single social media platform and KeronRose.com. So we will see you guys next week with another installment of Going Digital during the lockdown. All right?
During the
You guys have a wonderful night. Keep safe.